I've never been the type of person to do something out of my comfort zone. I tend to like what's familiar. It makes me feel safe. I think maybe because it's predictable, so in my own way, I feel like I have control. It's like I stay in this comfort bubble, but I also feel like I do that to protect myself. I guess I've always been afraid of the unknown. So moving to Hawaii was not something I ever thought we would do. It was hard. So why did we do it? Let me tell you our story. After working on our marriage and working towards healing and restoration, which you guys can hear about in our previous videos, we decided to go on a missions trip with our church to Africa. It was honestly probably one of the best trips that we've been on. But once we got back from our trip, we felt like home wasn't where we were supposed to be anymore. So we started to pray and ask God for direction to kind of help us navigate through what we were feeling. We had some ideas on where we thought we were supposed to go. Like at one point we thought, maybe we're supposed to go back to Africa. Or maybe we're just supposed to move from where we are, but still in Southern California. But as weeks went on, Daniel came to me and said he thinks we're supposed to move to Hawaii. I know my husband. He's not afraid of change. He loves adventure. He's just a free spirit. So when he first mentioned Hawaii, I thought he just wanted to go there because it's Hawaii and who wouldn't want to live there? But he insisted and he said that he believes that that's where God is calling us to go. And I really fought with that because I didn't believe that that's what God was telling us to do. And I was so afraid of just making the wrong decision and being outside of God's will. Because it was a big move and I just wanted to be sure. So I asked him to give me some time because I had faith that if God showed him that he would also show me. And I waited and waited. And even though we still didn't know where we were moving, we started packing. There were a lot of things that were up in the air and we felt like we needed someone else's input. So we called some family friends of ours that are like grandparents to talk to them. I told them everything that was going on. And I'll never forget what they said to me. Gary said, "Follow your husband." He said something that brought me so much peace. He said, if your husband is wrong, and if he does just want to move to Hawaii because it's paradise, then he has to deal with God, not you. My biggest stressor was wanting to be obedient to God and in His will. And Gary said that I would be obedient to God in following my husband. And I realized he was completely right. So by the time we had finished talking with him on the phone, I had made my decision. I decided to have faith in what God was showing Daniel. And I instantly felt release from all of my worries, my burdens, and all the anxiety I had built up. It's funny because after that day, after choosing to completely surrender control, God answered my prayers. And I don't think it was a coincidence that it happened that way. I was driving back to work from my lunch, and there was a car right next to me on the next lane, and he was driving around the same speed as me, so naturally out of curiosity, I just look over, and I saw this flag hanging from his rear view mirror. And guess what it said? Hawaii. And my heart sank because I knew without a doubt in my mind, we were supposed to move there. Once we got to the island, we were really excited, but it was also hard at times. We missed our family, our community, and a sense of belonging. We went from having our own home in Southern California to renting out a bedroom until we found a place for ourselves. And all while I was 3 months pregnant. It was really humbling, but I began to see a glimpse of why God moved us here. We were doing pretty well for ourselves in California, to the point that we became very self-reliant. But if you were to ask me if I trust and depend on God, I would have said yes. But my actions said different. We stopped trusting that God is the provider, that He's the one who gives and takes. And it wasn't until we moved here and experienced situations where we had no choice but to rely on God that we realized how far we had drifted from Him. It felt like we had to go back to the baby steps in our faith, having to learn how to retrust again, having to learn how to depend on God again, because He doesn't care how much we know, but how we obey. The Bible says He desires mercy, not sacrifice. He's not looking for checkmark Christians that do things for the sake of saying we did them, but hearts that love Him and genuinely want to know Him. We had substituted religious traditions for a relationship with God. Being afraid to move out of my comfort zone paralyzed me. It made me a stagnant Christian, and it made me trust in myself to be in control and to only do things that kept me from feeling anything unpleasant. Only for God to allow us to be put in situations where we realized that we were never in control in the first place. I remember not being able to do anything else but cry because I didn't want to move. I didn't want to leave my family, and I didn't want to go somewhere that I didn't know. But now that we're here and have been here for over 3 years, I thank God all the time. And I say, God, thank you for telling us to move. Because I see what He's done in me. I see how He's changed our marriage. I see how He has changed my husband. And all in ways that have made us better. In ways that have made us grow. In ways that have made us step out in faith. We've learned how to be our own family. We've learned how to be there for each other when a few years back we could barely get along. We learned how to have boundaries in our marriage and with other people. And we learned how to trust God for our every need.